Let's talk about low libido in men. I already have a whole video on low sex drive in women, so check that out if you are suffering from any symptoms of low sex drive, ladies. Now, for men, it's going to be a little different. When they go to their doctor and they have low libido, they're going to likely have their testosterone tested. And that's likely going to show up low free levels, and they're likely going to be given testosterone. And I can not say this enough and caution enough. Please don't take any bioidentical hormones without running a Dutch. This goes for men or women. Always run a Dutch and make sure you're checking the metabolites. So how is your body breaking down your hormones? Is it safe or is it unsafe? Because if it's unsafe, even if your levels are low, it is contraindicated, that dangerous to add in more. Your body is saying, whoa, we can't safely detoxify this. We're going to lower our levels a little bit so you don't end up with cancer. And then you run the labs and you're like, well, I know better. You need that testosterone. I'm going to give you some more testosterone. And that's where male related cancers happen, because the body cannot safely metabolize the hormones anymore. And this really is a detoxification issue, not a hormone issue. So before you take bioidenticals, please run this Dutch test. It's a beautiful test that not only shows you your free levels and tests for an entire day versus blood work, which is a moment in time. It's going to show you this entire day of your hormones, and it's going to show you how you're breaking them down. So when it comes to hormones, low libido can be caused by too much testosterone, actually, and too little. And people are really shocked by that. But oftentimes, when men are not detoxifying their testosterone properly and they're producing these high alpha toxic metabolites, then that is going to cause a low sex drive, because the body is not able to properly process testosterone. Now, low sex drive in men can be caused by multiple things, testosterone being one of them, but we want to back up the boat a little bit and do a little bit of work on other things before affecting our hormones. So when it comes to hormone balancing, the body does not feel that's usually a priority. It's going to worry more about just surviving every day. And if we're in a state of stress, work, emotional stress, toxic stress, pathogen stress in the body and the gut, hormones, reproduction, it's not high on the list. Because if you were running from a tiger all day, do you think you would be thinking about sex? No, you would not be thinking about making babies. So the body is on that same bandwidth. And even though you're not being chased by a tiger all day, the body cannot tell the difference between these other stressors and actually being chased by a tiger all day. So we need to work on lowering the stresses in the body before we work on balancing our hormones. And for men, commonly, that's going to be diet. We're going to need to reduce processed foods, because those processed foods are going to drive up estrogen levels. And high estrogen in men really kills the libido. So we need to work on diet. It is important. It's not just about taking a supplement or taking a pill. It is about making lifestyle changes. So we want to work on the diet, and then we want to run some labs. I call them the foundation labs, to see where the other imbalances and deficiencies are in the body, so that the body then has tools to start making changes to the hormones on its own and to start repairing the detox pathways. So I like to start with organic acids, full blood work, genetics, and often a copper zinc test, because these labs are going to give us the picture of what the neurotransmitters are looking like, mitochondria function, deficiencies, detox pathways. It's going to show us what the body needs to start to repair. And it's going to cover a lot of other root causes of low libido: neurotransmitter imbalance, mitochondria dysfunction. So if your brain is not balanced, either are your hormones. They're not going to be balanced. If your mitochondria is not functioning properly, if you cannot produce enough ATP, energy, to go about your daily tasks, you're fatigued, you're tired, you're in this chronic stress response, you're not going to be thinking about hormones. Your body's not going to be thinking about that. So really important to work on that. And then we talked about the detox pathways. Very critical to be working on the 3 phases of detoxification so that your body can safely metabolize its hormones. Then up next, we would run the Dutch and we would check the hormones, we would check the metabolism, and we would add in support there. And for some men, yes, they do have low DHEA, they have low testosterone. And if we safely can add in support, we'll do that. But we always want to start with herbs first. See if we can give the body tools with the foundation package and then move to adding in some herbs to upregulate some of these hormone processes in the body. But you don't want to do that if the body doesn't have tools to make the hormones. It's like saying, hey, I want you to produce more testosterone, and your body's like, dude, we don't even have the two sticks to rub together to make a fire. So you need to back up and do some work beforehand. So then we would add in the support. And if we're not seeing that that's working, then we can add in some bioidentical hormones. I like to start with upstream hormones like pregnenolone, DHEA, check adrenal function, make sure it's safe, check estrogen, because if you're already primed, your body's kind of like a river. And if it's primed to do, if the river is flowing one way and you want the river to flow this way, it's going to take a lot of work to make it flow in a different direction. So if your body is used to producing a lot of estrogen when it should be making testosterone, or if it's used to producing a toxic testosterone pathway, then you're going to use those herbs to change the flow of the direction while then adding in some bioidenticals and retesting to make sure it's safe. We don't want to increase our sex drive and then end up with cancer 5 to 10 years later. That is very, very backwards thinking. We don't turn off a symptom and then make it worse later. We want to find out the why. Now, we want to keep reducing stress on the body, and that's going to be emotional stress and mindset tools to handle everything that men manage. We talk a lot about, women putting so much on their plate. Well, men are often doing a ton, but they're not talking about it. They're not talking about the stress that they're under, where women are going to be more vocal about what they're going through and how they're feeling. A lot of men aren't even feeling it. They're not even recognizing what they're going through. So it is working on lowering the stress, doing a lot of mindset work, and then also lowering the internal stress. So make sure you're reducing your toxic burden, eating clean foods, cleaning up anything that you're putting in, on, and around your body. So chemicals in your environment. And that's also working on the internal pathogen load. So going on, doing gut work, working on parasites and protozoa and yeast and bacteria and heavy metals so that the body can really start to come into balance and feel good. Because just like women, it's not always our hormones. It can be so many other things that are causing our libido to go down. And the same happens with men. We really do need a whole body approach. If you're looking for a practitioner to run these labs for you, check out my website. It's www.sgintegrativehealing.com.